I'm Aislinn Green, and this is Travel Tales by Afar. Every week, we hear stories of life-changing travel from comedians, astronauts, authors, adventurers, and so many more. This week, we're going to hear about finding humor on the road from a Kentucky native who's seen pretty much every corner of America. Today, I'm talking with comedian Katherine Blandford. Her sharp observations about growing up in the South have earned her spots at comedy clubs nationwide, and her latest special is called Catholic Cowgirl. As a kid, her travel consisted mainly of packing into the family van for trips to Florida, with occasional stops at her beloved Cracker Barrel. These days, with much more travel under her belt, she has a special knack for connecting with pretty much any audience. In her conversation, she shared about how different regions react to humor, and why, despite crisscrossing America as a comedian, she considers the Pacific Northwest her performing paradise. Welcome, Katherine.
I love this because never did I think growing up I wouldn't be somebody that someone would talk to about traveling.
I was actually curious, what was your relationship to travel when you were a kid? Was it a thing that you did?
Truly, this was as far as we would go, is we pack up the van. I'm in Kentucky. It's pretty middle of the state. And we would drive 14 hours, get lost twice, and eventually end up in Destin, Florida. And we would do the spring break there, or maybe a weekend. And it was just we would go to the Florida beaches. That was it. And I think I literally remember one time my grandpa remarried a Canadian woman, and we went to Calgary to go visit them. And that was we are international voyagers.
Yes.
Everyone, our aunts and uncles and our cousins were oh my gosh, tell us what it's like in the different world. We were just scooting up to Calgary, but it was a big deal for us.
I mean, I've never been to Calgary. Don't they have a big rodeo there? Sounds like a big deal to me.
That was funny. I was a kid. My passport, I think I have braces in it. It was the Calgary Stampede. We watched lumberjacks run on the little logs and everything. And then since I've had so many friends from Canada, friends from Calgary, I would be I remember as a kid going to the Calgary Stampede, and they're oh, that's a drunken, horny mess. Sorry, I don't know if I could say that on here.
Yes,
but I guess the notion is it's very much more kind of spring breaky, everyone's getting drunk and hooking up, and there's this big party atmosphere. I was I was a child who thought it was the most wholesome thing. I had cotton candy.
Gosh. Well, what were those early road trips like? Did you have the classic, fighting over the back seat?
Oh, always fighting. Always fighting. But my favorite thing was stopping at the Cracker Barrels, and you'd go into the gift shop. Did you guys ever stop at Cracker Barrels?
I'm West Coast, so we would stop at I don't know, an REI. I don't know what the
I love
IHOP probably is the closest.
Okay, but Cracker Barrel is
Tell me, yeah.
Oh my god. It's it is breakfasty, but it feels like one of those institutions that's gonna stand the test of time. If there's ever an apocalypse and the only people left are a few doomsday preppers, cockroaches, there will be a Cracker Barrel still standing with staff in it. They got biscuits, and all the ladies, they got their names sewed into their aprons. There's a gift shop, and they have all little toy horses and I don't know, little BB guns, but it's very still old school. You've got checkers on every table. There's rocking chairs in the front porch that old people hang out and rock.
Well, can we go back a little bit to kind of where you grew up? Because your home state does seem to feature in your comedy quite frequently. So what was it like growing up? And Louisville, right? Am I pronouncing that correctly, or is that too California?
I want to give you the benefit of the doubt, but you're pretty off.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's okay.
Tell me.
It wasn't the worst.
Tell me. It wasn't the worst. Okay. What's the worst? Louisville, probably.
Louisville's pretty. Yeah.
Okay.
It's Louisville. It's and that's
Louisville. All right. Louisville.
Yes, there you go. I always say we drink a lot of bourbon. So pretend you've had a lot of bourbon and your mouth is full of biscuits.
That is remarkably helpful.
Yeah. There you go. You nailed it.
Amazing. Thank you. So what was it like growing up there?
You know what? It's really, I truly feel like I just had a very Americana childhood. I was in Louisville, which is, it's sad to say, the big city. Both my parents come from tobacco farms. My mom's from Owensboro, the borough. My dad's family, they all most of them lived out in farms in more rural parts of Kentucky. We were like the family that was like, look who's coming back. Look who's coming back to the country for a day. We were we were the ones with a cul-de-sac. We were the city slickers.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Did you grow up with horses? Because I feel like that's also another recurring motif, shall we say.
I actually didn't, which is the best part about it, because I was obsessed with horses. I would get the horse books, and my friends had horses, and there was some barns close to us where we would go ride, and obviously we'd go to the track. But, my parents were like, we have 3 kids, and we're not getting a horse. We're not doing a horse. We don't live on a farm. And so most of the jokes I have are about just, being a horse, because I couldn't have a horse. But it's interesting. Like, I remember, growing up and, going to the track. I say track, like Churchill Downs, the big racetrack in Louisville. That's where the Kentucky Derby was. It's a world that you realize these people are so enwrapped in. You go, but the backside of Churchill is my favorite place to be when I go there for Derby. I'll stop talking about this in a second.
No, I want to hear all about this. This is what we're here for.
My favorite Derby festival thing to do is, so the Derby is the first Saturday in May. There's 2 weeks of festivals leading up to the Derby. It starts off with Thunder over Louisville. That's where there's a bridge that connects Louisville, it's the Ohio River, and the bridge goes over to Indiana. And it's one of the biggest fireworks shows in the world. And they just have all these activities and everything. But one of the coolest things to do is called Dawn at the Downs. And so my parents would take us to Churchill Downs in the morning before school. I mean, the sun is rising. It's just coming up. And the horses are warming up. The horses are training. And you get to go to the back side of Churchill Downs where all the stalls are and where they bathe the horses and feed them. And it's all the trainers, and everybody, it's back there. And it's just the sun's coming up. It's springtime, so it's still very cool. And you're watching these horses they just did a bunch of sprints and they're getting a bath and they're there's the steam coming off their body and they're just, and they're getting apples and they're so excited. It's very cool. It's a beautiful scene.
Do you try to go back every year? Is that a part of your adult life?
I like to go back more than I actually am, but I always tell people, I'm you have to have the full experience. There's so many days to experience different types of Churchill. Obviously, there's the Millionaire's Row and the hoity-toity areas of the track
that we all think of.
Right. But my favorite parts is the infield and the paddock.
And what happens there?
We're not allowed to tell.
You got to go. You have to see for yourself.
You got to go. Yeah. Take a disposable camera.
Okay.
Because your phone will get lost. Those are the more wild, rambunctious places, but that's also where the fun outfits and the really wild things are. But the paddock is so fun too because you just walk around and it's amazing people watching.
Yes, which is, that's why I love to travel is to watch people in places that I don't know. And have you ever heard of this thing called hobby horsing? I think that's what it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, listeners, just a quick break from the episode to explain what exactly hobby horsing is. It is viewed as a competitive sport that is kind of gymnastic-like, but the main tool is not a real horse, but one of those fake toy horses. So the kind with a fuzzy stuffed animal head and a stick body. And the participants, which typically are young women under the age of 18, actually do jumps and performances. And so it's kind of this combination of gymnastics and imagination. It's totally worth a Google. And now back to Katherine and the episode.
Since I was doing bits about pretending to be a horse.
Yes. Okay.
I get hobby horsing clips daily.
Okay.
From folks. And it warms my heart. I love watching clips. It's always on TikTok. You watch a clip of a competition and my favorite part is the girls are freaking out.
Mm.
Like they just had a bad run or they missed the jump. Their stick horse is crying. Everyone's crying. And then you can just glance over in the stands and there's like 4 people in the stands. One person is sleeping. It's so low stakes, but they care. They care.
I know, they really care. I want to do a story about it, actually, because I'm so fascinated by that aspect, like the mental part, because it's not really about the crowd. It's not about the people. It's about like whatever's going on. Anyway, we can move on from horses. I just felt like that seemed like it might be something.
I love it. My goal is to judge one of those competitions. I want to host or judge. I've been sent so many clips, but there is like a world championship hobby horsing competition somewhere in the world.
Isn't
I've been
like
sent
Finland
clips.
or...
Oh my gosh, I would go. I would be in heaven. Thank goodness I didn't find out about hobby horsing as a child.
Yes.
I would have been so deep in it.
You might not actually be here today.
No.
You might be in Finland.
Yeah, I may have had a unicorn surgically attached to my forehead at this point.
Oh my God. All right. Well, so now you live in LA. Am I correct in that?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what has that transition been like culturally for you? And I know you've traveled a lot and we'll get to that, but yeah.
Oh, it's wild because I was in the Southeast for the first 31 years of my life. I would say up until then, it was always like the culture shift I ever experienced was just getting deeper into South and Southern traditions. It was like, oh, I thought I was from the South. And I went to South Carolina, and they're driving Tahoes and saying ma'am with hunting dogs and nothing I'd ever experienced before. It was like 31 kind of when my career took off and I started touring and going across the country. And it was really cool because then I was trying to write a new hour, but then I always kind of give myself a challenge of writing local jokes at the top of my set. Comics do it, just to show that you're there with them. Yes. You can relate to them. You do have to research the place or walk around, have a local story or something that happens. So it's also just a great way to get out and just walk around the city a little bit. And it was cool to see how different areas of the country respond to jokes and their different mannerisms and their different ways of expressing if they like something.
Oh, yeah. Tell me.
In the Midwest,
what does that look like?
They could be loving the show, but they have their arms crossed and they are nodding.
Really? No.
Yes. And you're like, I am crushing with this guy. And you are. Yeah. And then, the South, it's a big hoot and holler and their hands are thrown in the air and they're falling on the ground.
Yeah. When you kind of were experiencing that difference in audience reactions, well, I'm curious to know, the first time that you came to realize that this was crushing in the Midwest. Was it because somebody came up afterwards and was like, that was amazing? And you were like, oh, okay. But how also were the coastal audiences, West Coast versus East Coast?
Yeah. Very much. It was I, went up in Minneapolis or Michigan and, it just felt like I was fighting for my life up there. And afterwards, people come up to me just we had a ball. And you're like, are your arms glued underneath your armpits then? Let them out. Release it a little bit. And then, another comic came up to me and they're like, this is just, these are the crowds. It's funny. It's almost I could split the country into 12 different regions, I feel like. Because obviously your coastal elites, your LA, New York.
Yes. Yeah.
Can be fun depending on where you are at the city, but sometimes it's people in the industry or it's artists or it's whatever, and they also have kind of a cross the arms I'm in the arts, I could do this. My favorite areas are on the coast. The Pacific Northwest is my favorite place to perform because those people are cold and they're drunk, but they don't have an elitist attitude where they're above everything. And so they're cold. And so they're so happy to be inside somewhere, just enjoying themselves. Mm-hmm. And it makes for a prime audience. They're smart. They're educated, but they can hear you out.
Okay. Interesting. I'm from Seattle, and so when you
Yes.
said cold initially, I was like, oh yeah, people can be a little cold. They can be a little
No,
standoffish, but I was like, oh, you mean like
physically
actually
cold.
like physically? It's so true. It's so
Physically
cold. It's
cold.
so damp.
Yeah, so they're inside, but they're smart, but
Yes,
they're
yeah,
also
yeah.
still kind of just like sometimes mixed with like the ruralness is very close outside of
Yes.
the big cities. And so they're still like happy to just be inside experiencing something because sometimes that doesn't come around very
Totally.
often.
Yes. That's a really interesting, any other kind of memorable, I don't know, regions or audiences?
This is the weirdest one, but it's a place called Great Falls, Montana. A town I do think will survive the apocalypse.
Do they have a Cracker Barrel?
Everyone has their own bunkers. No
Okay.
need for a Cracker
Oh,
Barrel.
wow.
And
Wow.
it's just one of those towns where like they have all these quirky things. Like you stay in a hotel where the bottom of it is a mermaid bar. The mermaids are swimming. It's
In
there's like a pool.
Montana.
Yeah, yeah. In
Huh.
Montana, there's a pet store right next to the venue where if you walk deep enough into the pet store, there's monkeys in the back.
Oh my God.
It's
I
just
love
one of
this
those
place.
towns, and the folks are just like, you can tell everybody's got a secret. Even the cutest woman with a cute little blonde pixie, and she's adorable and she's sweet. She's seen death.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen death there. And it just feels like one of those towns where, like you could stay for 4 weeks and every day you'd hear some new wild, crazy, insane story. I love towns like that.
So, what's your approach? Or maybe it changes depending on where you are. Like, if you're trying to kind of go out, get some information about the place, maybe get some stories to work into your act, like, what do you do? How do you tackle that?
I'll ask local comics or people or like the club people if I talked to them before, where should I go and walk about? And then I love to just have 3 hours of wandering. I love a good coffee shop. I want to
Mm-hmm.
eat well. That's my reward. I don't want to eat healthy, but I want it to be a good meal. And then I love like a big park in the area. And then you just kind of get a feel for the people. And then you usually just come back with like a story or two of a very like quintessential town folk kind of person.
Yeah. Does that also segue into your crowd work? Because that was one of the things that I wanted to ask that I really appreciate about your comedy is I feel like you're so good with the crowd and you really meet people where they're at. Like there was the guy whose girlfriend shot him.
Oh, Arizona.
Arizona.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was great. I could only put up I think a minute and a half on the internet, and it was like we talked for 10 minutes on stage. It just kept getting crazier and crazier. I mean, that's my third time doing that club, and it's right outside Phoenix. But it's like you very quickly understand Arizona folk and Phoenix folk. And it's just funny, like when you tap into somebody like that, and you could call them out on it. Like just and you're like, that is an Arizona story. I like to learn about the town, but not in like a way of I'm better than.
Yeah.
But more in just like I want to learn about your creatures. I want to know like why did these people thrive in this habitat, and what kind of person does it take to thrive in this habitat?
Yeah.
And it's fun to just because it kind of feels like you're in a new TV show in every town. And it's I've said this before, but in every reality of my life, I feel like I'm living the best one because every week is a different scenery.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
characters.
that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like being on the, I mean, I know it can be rough to be on the road, but like, do you like that for that reason?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's nice now that I'm booking full weekends. When I first started touring, it was one-nighters. So I was doing 3 cities in 3 days.
Yeah. Wow.
That's grueling because you don't even really
Yeah.
get to see the town. Like if I get like 3 days, sometimes 4 days in a club, that's when you can chill and walk around and really immerse yourself in a town. And I'm about to do it in Tacoma, and I'm so excited.
Oh, you are Tacoma. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes. Tacoma aroma. I mean,
I would record a special at Tacoma. I love it.
that's awesome.
I love like a Tacoma or like a Fort Collins in Colorado. Like these little, these like colder mountainy-ish towns right off the big city.
What do you think that is for you? What's the like magic sparkly thing?
Maybe it's because of where I came from. I wouldn't say I'm the smartest person, or the most cultured person. So maybe I feel more comfortable being around people that aren't in the big city and have some big hoity-toity job. And I feel comfortable with people more on my level.
Yeah. I feel like there's the I don't want to say humility, but there's that sense of hey, we're living life. You're here, we're here. Let's just be a human. I don't know. Yeah.
I was in Appleton, Wisconsin, and a 4-H club took a field trip to my show.
No.
I was in heaven.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Talking about, their favorite calf they had as a kid, and drinking the milk that they're squirting and everything. It just was that's my kind of people. I like those.
I like that. Well, do you have any other kind of memorable moments in that way, crowds or a specific person that you're wow, you're just really doing this with me?
When I was doing a lot more horse girl stuff, I would end my show by bringing someone on stage, and we would have a neigh off.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I did it in Jacksonville one time, and the woman after it, she was so sweet. We're still friends this day. She was like, I have horses and you're going to come ride tomorrow. And I don't know. I wasn't even in a sad place, but it does sound like I went because I was suicidal, but I wasn't. I totally trusted her. And I went the next morning and went out to her farm, and we rode horses. And that's when I was like, this is the peak of my life. I get to do stand-up comedy and then meet people who are obsessed with horses. And in the day I get to go ride horses. And now I'm filling everything I ever wanted as a child.
I mean, can you imagine? Yeah, the little kid version of you seeing you now. How have you made this happen? I think the neigh off, that seems like that's a vehicle to.
Yeah. That was definitely
do that anymore.
I really had to move on. I mean, because I had posted a few clips, and then people were expecting it, and people were coming with a really good neigh, and I was losing a lot more than I was used to, and it was starting to get to my ego. I can't lose on a neigh off 3 nights in a row in Chicago.
Oh, wow. And then just get up the next morning everything's fine.
No, it stays with you, and it shakes me.
Yeah. Understood. Okay, so neigh to the neigh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before we wrap up, anything else that you want to add about your travel life, your crisscrossing of the United States? Advice?
I would just like to issue a apology because of me in the past, and I'm gonna go ahead and apologize for how I will be acting in the future. I'm a monster in the airport, and I'm so sorry if I have given your children a dirty look, or you for having your children. I just am not a patient person, and I fly so much, and I get in the airport. It's a very A to B mode. I know my routine. And I understand that people have children and they are not flying every day, so they may move at a slower pace.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that now as I'm sitting in my comfortable apartment in LA. In the moment when I'm in the airport, I'm going to step over your crawling child on the moving sidewalk, give you a side eye, and keep it moving. And just know I'm just being nasty in the moment. Please forgive me. I'm a good person once I get out of the airport. I'm a monster in the airport, and I apologize.
Okay, good to know. Well, I will avoid you in the airport if I ever run into you. But once you get on the plane, are you fine?
I'm to myself on the airplane. As long as you keep your shoes on, we typically can be friendly neighbors.
Got it.
If you take your shoes off, I won't say anything to you directly,
Yeah.
but I will cough on your biscuit.
That was Katherine Blanford. If you want to catch her hilarious takes on travel and regional differences, you can see her live at upcoming shows in Sunnyvale, California, Oklahoma City, and Tulsa, and this October at Red Rocks with Burt Kreischer. As you heard, she may be a monster in the airport who might step over your crawling child on the moving sidewalk, but she is a lovely person once she's safely on the ground. You can follow her comedy and tour dates on social media. I have linked to her website and her handles in the show notes. Next week, join us for an exploration of family and music in Colombia. Ready for more travel tales? Visit afar.com/podcast and be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. We're at Afar Media. If you enjoyed today's exploration, I hope you'll come back for more great stories. Subscribing makes this very easy. You can find Travel Tales by Afar on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. The podcast is also part of the Airwave Media Podcast Network, so visit airwavemedia.com to listen and subscribe to their other fine shows like Culture Kids and the Explorers Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to rate and review the show. It helps us book amazing guests like the one you just heard, and it helps other travelers find it. This has been Travel Tales, a production of Afar Media. The podcast is produced by Aislinn Green and Nikki Galteland. Music composed and produced by Strike Audio. And remember, everyone has a travel tale. What's yours?